Hey guys, welcome to Protein Treats. I am so excited today because we are making a healthy version of Foley's Mints Party Mints. Now, every year at Christmas time in my stocking, my parents would put a box of Foley's Mints in there. And if you don't know what they are, they're a creamy, delicious, minty, absolutely insanely wonderful little treat. It's not chocolate, it's like a vanilla based sort of a white chocolate that's minty, and they're so good. The only problem is there's over 20 grams of sugar in just a handful of them. So I decided I was gonna make a Christmas bark that tasted just like them, but was actually gonna be healthy, full of whey protein, full of prebiotic fiber, no sugar at all, and absolutely delicious. So stick around. We're gonna make these together. So this recipe couldn't be any easier. All you're gonna need is half a cup of coconut oil that you melt, and you just melt it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and you're good to go. I have half a cup here and I'm gonna pour it right into my bowl. And then you're gonna need 2 scoops of vanilla Nutritional. And that's all you need for this recipe. Now I'm adding a little bit of baking peppermint extract. So really important that you're not using the big bottles of syrup flavors because those can have water in it. And when you mix the water with the coconut oil, it won't mix right and you're gonna get a little bit of a mess. So make sure you're using a baking extract. And then because I want mine to look really cute, I'm gonna have a little bit of red food coloring. I'm gonna have a little bit of green food coloring. Now you don't have to do any of that. You can just go ahead and mix it all together, but I'm gonna make it look like a really pretty and swirly candy cane. All right, so I'm gonna add in my 2 scoops of vanilla Nutritional. Make sure that I get a full scoop here and there's no air in the bottom. And then I'm gonna take my whisk and I'm just gonna whisk this up. And what you're gonna find that's so amazing is because there's all that prebiotic fiber in Nutritional, you're gonna see that it mixes up really quickly, perfectly and smoothly. And that's what we want to get that creamy, creamy taste and texture. And now I'm going to add in a teaspoon of my peppermint baking extract. So I'm gonna grab my teaspoon here and put that right in. And mix that up, and that's it. That's all you need. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna spread it out right onto my pan that has some parchment paper, and then I'm gonna withhold just a little bit. So I'll show you how easy this is. Okay, so as you can see, I've spread this out, and I wanna make it a nice sort of a square shape. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shape this a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take about half of the leftover. I've reserved not quite a quarter cup. I would say even a little bit less than that. And I'm gonna put a little bit into one jar over here and a little bit into the next jar. And that's where I'm gonna add my food coloring. The rest, I'm gonna make sure I get all of the yummy goodness from our ingredients and I'm gonna put it right back onto the main part on my pan. So now I'm gonna take the red here and I'm gonna put maybe 6 drops, maybe 7 of the red food coloring, and then in the other one I'm going to do green. And then I'm just using a chopstick, but you can use anything you want to mix it up. So now that I have my green all mixed up, look at that, perfect. So I've put my food coloring in. They've both gotten a little bit cold, so I'm gonna zap them in the microwave for about 5 seconds each, or about 10 seconds together, so that they become a little more liquidy again, and then I'm gonna mix them into my base. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix my red in, and just go ahead and scoop it in little lumps. Now I know you think you have to swirl it perfect, but you don't. This is the trick. So put 4 or 5 little groupings of your red sort of randomly across. Now we're gonna do the same thing with our green, randomly around. And what's so great about this is because you're using wax paper, you really don't have to worry about having it scrape the bottom or anything like that. Now you're gonna take your chopstick and you're just gonna run it all the way through, just like this. And as you can see, it looks a little bit rough until you do it, and then you let it settle, and you'll watch, it'll fill in, and it'll go nice and smooth, and it will settle for you, and it will make a really pretty swirl. Okay, now what we're gonna do with our swirls, we're gonna put it in the freezer for only about 10 minutes. That's all you need is 10 minutes. And it's gonna come out as a frozen, absolutely delicious traditional Christmas treat. All right, so I've just pulled our mints out of the freezer and they look absolutely perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna break them up into little pieces here and put them onto my plate so you can see. Now when you make these at home, it's really, really important that when you do it, you keep them in the freezer right until you're gonna eat them, because if you don't, it's going to melt just like coconut oil. So they're gonna become that soft consistency of coconut oil, especially if your house is a little bit warm. But for us, we're gonna go ahead and break them up just so you can see how wonderful these look and how wonderful these taste, because I can smell them. And they smell just like Foley's mints that I used to have when I was a kid, except all that's in this is coconut oil and Nutritional. You guys are gonna love these. These are so good. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check back every Friday for a new episode. And of course, I can't wait in the comments to hear how yours turned out and how you love this recipe. All right, guys, Merry Christmas.